Hello, everyone. Welcome to Checking In with Changemakers with Beat the Change Media Network. My name is Lily Mott, and this is the show where I get to catch up with past guests of my podcast. And I've been hosting this podcast for over 3.5 years now, and my guests have done some very, very exciting things since I got to talk with a lot of them. So this is an update on a lot of the work that they've been up to. My guest today is David Onilude, and he is a digital literacy advocate and the founder of Tech Now Global. And I got to talk with David all about his work when we spoke back on the podcast in February of 2023. And that was episode 137 of the podcast. So we're at over 190 now. So it's been quite a while since I got to catch up with David. And I'm really excited to learn more about the work that he's doing, especially because when we spoke, I really thought that the concept of digital literacy was very interesting and something that was unique. And so I'm excited to see what he's done since then. I'm going to go ahead and invite David and we'll dive right in. All right. Hey, David, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, my AirPods are being on the fritz, so we'll go without. How are you? How is everything going? You're in Finland, is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I've,
I'm
sorry?
catching at an interesting time. Tell me about that.
Oh my God. So I came for a conference in the Management Institute of Finland. I was sponsored for like a leadership course,
Mhm.
and it's been amazing.
That's
And I I went to Sweden. I had a tour in Sweden. That was on the weekend. Today we had a sahuna, it has been very, very interesting.
that.
And I'm just coming in now. I had to rush in because of this, because I was still scared over. It's been amazing.
Okay, oh my gosh. Well, I'm catching you at a very busy time, but I'm so glad that we get to catch up, and I can't wait to hear about all of the things that you've been doing because I was just saying we talked back in February last year, so it's
Yes, yes. Yeah, I
over.
was very, very, very confused because I knew I had been on your podcast before,
Uh-huh.
but I wasn't
Back in
sure.
the back in the vault.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the way back. But yeah, so that was back when you were in school and doing, you were just kind of starting up Tech Now Global, I think, around that time, or it was kind of moving to the next level.
what year was that?
2023. So maybe you were just like really diving into new projects or something, because I remember you
Yeah,
had some new tell me back then.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so I'm excited to know what you're doing now with it, but like you did on the podcast, can you do a quick intro better than I did? I was very brief with my intro of you. So tell me more about what you're doing. Give me a quick intro as to who you are, what you're up to, and then we'll talk more.
Yeah, so good everybody. I am David Onilude. I'm a software developer and I'm a digital literacy advocate. I run a nonprofit called Tech Now Global where we reach out to young people. We're very keen on digital inclusion in underserved community. I'm also the co-founder of Beere. Beere is a software agency where we create softwares for individuals and organizations. I'm also an Ashoka Young Chainmaker where I run a couple of I joined some couple of volunteering firms. Basically, I'm keen on quality education, digital literacy, and the fact that young people's voices are integrated into international voices and your voices are being heard, basically.
Yeah, so much going on. So we'll talk about a lot of it. Tell me about the last year of developing everything. How is Tech Now Global doing?
I, I think I think for me, last year has been quite tough because I just finished school 3 weeks ago. I was in my final years, so it was a little bit of juggling school and the organization and a lot of background process has been because I'm launching my tech startup called Beere. A lot of process has been going on underground. So the last few years has been a lot of underground work. We've not really done a major project. We've done a couple of collaborative projects, school tours in Nigeria where we visited 4 states in Nigeria. But apart from that, it's just been a little bit of background restructuring in the organization and basically focusing on the software company part for me, basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, my team members have been doing a really great job. across the years, I've been able to build a very sustainable team. And in my absence, it feels like these guys don't miss me anymore. And they're just, I mean, they're just doing the thing.
I'm sure that's not true, but but that's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's how it's growing and all of the work that you're doing. Tell me about the new projects that you're working on. I know that you're definitely in like a transition phase
Yeah.
with moving out of school, moving on to new things. Tell me about what you're looking forward to and what you're working on now.
Yeah, so for the past couple of years, we've been keen on digital skills for young people in underserved community. But um, I'm a bit mature now in the chain making line, and I've come to realize it's not enough to give young people skills when they don't have resources and when they don't have an environment for them to explore the skill you're giving them. So the next, my team members are on
Yeah,
the group chat. So
what are you talking about?
yeah. So the next phase is basically now we're creating an avenue where we don't just train young people in underserved community. We give them the resources they need and we give them the environment for them to have internship, basically job opportunities. So that's the new transitioning stage for us, and that's where Beere comes in. So Beere is not a non-profit. Techno Global is a non-profit, but they work hand in hand together. As a software company, we have a lot of partners, and when we train young people, we have access to make these young people also benefit from the companies that partners with us. Let them explore their skills. Give them 3 months internship while they are earning, because it's one thing to create value, is another thing to create sustainable value. And I think that's where the sustainability comes in because above all, what we do is to increase job opportunities in our community. And I think Better and Techno Global working hand in hand is basically going to do a lot more than we've been doing across the year. So I think that's it.
Yeah,
The thing is, I talk too much. So when I'm talking too much, please
no,
let me know.
I'm so into it. I love this idea of digital literacy in general. I said that a little bit in the introduction where I think it's a really unique title, digital
I
literacy.
saw I saw that you used an old picture for me. I was like, oh my God, really?
I'm sorry, Google it. I think that I might have used that one all the way back when I featured you in the podcast. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, I remember. It's fine.
Okay, but yeah, I think digital literacy advocate is such an interesting title, and I think it's so important right now. And I remember we talked about it on the podcast, but can you? I wonder if anything changed on your perception about how that is such an important topic for people to be aware of, and such an important thing for people to get involved in and to develop skills. Tell me about why digital.
Uh, I mean, I know we've discussed about this before, but first of all, looking at part of quality education. So I used to say when you have balanced education, you have everything balanced. So these problems we have, quality education covers a whole lot of things, gender equality, digital literacy, climate change, and all. And digital literacy falls under quality education. And the fact that because of the lack of quality education in some communities leads to the fact that young people don't have access to tech skills. They don't have access to basic tech skills. And I would just say that uh, what has changed is I was very, very keen on digital literacy, but it's about quality education. Let young people have quality education, and from quality education, they have digital skills that they need to thrive. And we're in the 21st century, and everything is going digital. We have new development. We have ChatGPT. We have a whole lot of technologies that are ruling the world. Things are becoming digitally inclined, and young people in underserved community, to be particular, are way behind. And if we don't bridge this gap, where there is a gap between the underserved community and the overserved community, let me say that, then there's going to be a problem. So I could go on to talk about examples because if we don't include these guys, these young people, they grow up to be the problems of our community. So before they get to that stage where they are the problem, let's empower them young. And so we don't have excuses to have young people that become the problem for us.
I think that is so important. important. I think it's community investment, like you're saying, and making sure that people are on the right track and doing this
Yeah.
young rather than trying to do it retroactively. I think that's so important. And I do think young people want to engage with technology and they want to have those resources. And so it's just making sure that people have the quality education to use it well and to use it for good
Yeah.
and to their careers rather than just maybe TikTok. Um, not that that's bad, but in addition to TikTok. um, so tell me about, now that you're graduated, what are you doing next? What's next for you? I know that's scary. I'm sorry, but
Oh, I feel this 1 week, first of all, as was the perfect, I wouldn't say vacation, but the perfect break I needed
Mhm.
because graduating 5 years in school was really tough with the whole lot of multitasking I had to do. And especially my final years, it was really, really tough. But now that I'm done, I think it's time to really focus on my my agency,
Mhm.
Beere, because it's not like I'm still going to do non-profit. I'm still impacting the community. But the fact that there's a sustainable structure for these people who are empowering to get into, because I think for the next 6 months, it's just me putting a whole lot into starting up this company, this startup, to be sustainable. And it's still a way of giving back to my community. So, and I think I told my team members I've been gone for a whole long time and you guys didn't miss me. So don't expect me back any soon, guys. But seriously speaking, I think I just want to focus a whole lot, get a lot of partners, get a lot of investors for the agency, and do more projects. So on the 22nd of this month, we have another project with Techno Global. We're bringing 90 students together and we want to empower them with skills, see what we do. So still go hand in hand
Yeah,
together.
yeah. Tell me about what a workshop, like, tell me about what that's going to look like. What is the, as much as you can tell me, don't tell me any secrets or anything.
Yeah, no. It's quite. So we have a couple of projects we do. So we have the school tours, right? The school tours is we go from schools to schools, right? We bring it to you, where we teach your school about particular technology. Let's say Canva, for example. So we teach you how to use Canva. Let's say let's say what other Agility CMS. We teach you how to use Agility CMS. We teach you how to use WordPress for our school tours. Now we have our boot camps where we gather the students together and it's a more elaborate thing. We could talk about robotics, right? We could, like, I mean, then, but for this one, we call it a digital dialogue, right? But we are not just dialoguing. So basically, we bring people to talk about the importance of tech for this type of dialogue. But now we are making sure that they don't just come and get why must you join tech. So we're giving them the taste of why you're joining tech, right? So we're open. So it's going to be a 12-hour getting together of 90 people. We're dividing the classes into three. So we're going to have web design, we're going to have graphic design, then we're going to do a little bit of animation, right? So we empower them we tell them, and they're young people, right? We tell them, I mean, you're not too young to do this. You have your mobile phones, guys. You don't just use your mobile phone for TikToking. You can be productive with your mobile phones. I mean, it's quite fun, right? So that's basically what we're doing, opening their eyes beyond the fact that their phones are tools for productivity. They can be very creative. At the corner of their house, they can at least earn for themselves. And the problem is they don't have this information. So we expect too much from them. So, and they're quite young. That's the thing. And most of them have phones now because we're not really at the rural side. So we're doing it at the more civilized part of Lagos. So these guys coming together are guys that have mobile phones. So let's tell them, what can you do with your phone? How can you be productive? You are young people, you're creative. So now this is the way to be creative. Now go back home with this little knowledge we're giving you, improve on it, and blow our minds.
Yeah, yeah.
That's basically what it's about.
That's so cool. I think you're so right though that giving these people this group of young people the tools, then they can go back and they can show other people, look at this awesome thing that I learned. You know, it's called Canva. It's awesome.
Yeah,
You do it.
yeah,
It's empowerment in like the most basic, most amazing form. I think that's awesome.
yeah.
So tell me about, I asked this question back on the podcast, and I love to kind of hear and see if I can remember people's answers from when I first asked it and see if it changes. But lots of young people, especially high school students, university students, want to create change, want to make a difference, but they may not know how to get started with that work. What advice do you have for those people who may be watching us or maybe listening back on the podcast later?
Wow, I think my my answer would have revolved back then. I was still young.
Uh-huh.
So I think what I would say for every any young person that wants to get into change is start now. See, there's no little change, there is no big change because it I have a couple, not a couple, I have so many people reach out to me. I want to be like you, I want to be a chain maker. You're doing amazingly well, you're doing this. And I'm like, start, just that's something. There's so many problems around you. Just as little as you can do it. And while you're doing it, find one or two people that has the same mind that you have, the like minds of you. Put yourself into groups. And that's a start because when you're making change, you need support. You're not an island. You need people that collaborate with you to make it sustainable. And I'm keen on sustainable change because it's one thing to make change, it's another thing for your change to be sustainable. So whatever change you're making, make sure it is sustainable and don't be afraid to fail, right? Uh, I think one thing young change makers or young people don't tell other young people is when they failed. So people get to see the glamour of young change makers. They get to see when David is in Finland, when David is getting scholarship, getting award called podcast, but they don't get to see the time when I was, where do I go from here? And as young people, you're going to experience it, but that should not be your turning point. You should not give up, right? Because those times are going to come. And that's when your team members, your support system are necessary. So I think you as a young person get a sustainability plan for yourself and your team, have an accountability partner so it doesn't get so much in you. And while you're doing it, let it be fun, right? That's one important thing. Don't be too serious. Change making is not a career, right? Have fun while doing it. Create memories and document your process, right? Because you have to tell your story. And good storytelling is really, really what you're going to tell younger people. I did this. This was a point where I did this. This was a point. So I think with everything I've said, you should find one thing, documenting, find the support system, don't give up, start now, and just go out there and make exploit.
Yeah, you gave advice at like every step of the process, which I love. Get started, support system, document. I think that's awesome. Whatever point people's change making journey is at, there's some advice in there for them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was great. I am so excited to see what you do from here with Tech Now Global. It's been really fun to follow along with your work, and especially when you posted your graduation photos and stuff, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Perfect timing to talk. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to see just where it goes from here. What are the best ways for people to follow along with you and all the work that you're doing?
Yeah. So you can follow me on all social media platforms, David Onilude, and my non-profit organization, Tech Now Global. And for my software company, Beere Agency. It might be hard to spell, but Beere Agency, Beere Agency on all social media platforms.
I'll tag all of
Yeah,
those.
for Beere, it's a collaboration between two of my best friends. One is my team member. He's on the call. He was supposed to be on this call, but I think it skipped my mind to tell you I wanted to have him because of my busy schedule. So
I'll have to have him on the podcast. You guys can do like a mini.
definitely, he's a very, very amazing young friend of mine, cousin Quadri. He he's my mentor, he's my best friend. He's
That's
just yeah. So he should be on this podcast
yep.
because I still draw inspiration from him because if you think I'm amazing, you need to talk to
Oh,
cousin.
that sounds amazing. And I love that. All the shout outs, and I definitely will reach out. I know he's on this call, so
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
reach
yeah.
out.
Definitely,
um,
definitely. Thank
but
you
on
very
that,
much for having me. Such an honor. You had Joshua the last time, and I was like, oh, Joshua. Nice, nice.
I saw it. Yeah, you were commenting on the Joshua one, and I was like, oh, I've got to have David too. Why not?
Nice.
But thank you for coming on. This was so fun. And thank you to everyone who's listening. Um, a new episode of Be the Change podcast is coming out, or Be the Change on air is coming out tomorrow. But if anyone has any questions about anything I mentioned, please reach out to me by email at lily@bethechangepodcast.org or on Instagram at Be the Change Media Network. And tune in to listen to that episode tomorrow. But until then, be the change you wish to see in the world. Bye, guys, and thank you so much again. This was so much fun. And I hope that you enjoy Finland. Go enjoy it.
Wait, I didn't get to catch up with you. What have you been up to?
Well, we'll have to do a call. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. We'll do a separate call. This is about me. This is
Okay
about all the
then.
work that you've done.
Thanks.
Of course, enjoy Finland. Bye.
Bye.